Good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well this Thursday evening. Once again, welcome to the official topic talk. Please subscribe, like the videos, and hit the notification button so every time I produce a video, you'll get a notification and I'll get a view. Right, I thought I'll just have a little chat this evening about what is Freemasonry. According to the man in the shed, it's people that are in a secret society, and they're all coppers' pencils. But no, I'd just like to have a chat to you about the insight on what is Freemasonry. Freemasonry is one of the oldest fraternal organisations in the world. It unites men of all characters who, through of different religions, ethnics, or social backgrounds, share a belief in the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of mankind. Freemasonry offers a system or blueprint for the good man to further improve his character and actions through its system of degree, symbols, and fellowship opportunities. The United Grand Lodge of England reports that worldwide membership totals more than 6 million Freemasons, 1.1 million of whom are in North America. With 68,000 Masons and 440 local lodges, Ohio has one of the largest Masonic memberships of any state in the country. When did Freemasonry start? Modern Freemasonry was established in England in 1717. Although its exact origins are lost in the unrecorded history of medieval times, its roots are found in guilds of stonemasons that, from the end of the 13th century, regulated the qualifications of stonemasons. As a stonemason grew in his craft, he was entered into the appropriate rank: apprentice, journeyman, now called fellow craft, and master mason. At each stage, the craftsman was entrusted with the secrets of each level, which includes passwords and grips, or handshake, made known to him only upon due inspection of necessary proficiency by a master of the craft. This way, as stonemasons migrated across Europe to the next job, each man was assured proper pay and privilege commensurate with his skill level, and clients were assured of the quality of work. Today, Freemasonry shares the same system of secrets, ritual, and growth. Through the work has shifted from building edifices to building oneself in good character. How many Freemasons are there? According to the United Grand Lodge of England, there are 6 million Masons worldwide. What are the values of Freemasonry? The values of Freemasonry are brotherly love, relief, and truth. Brotherly love, caring for each other and our communities. Relief, help and assist those in distress. Truth, using knowledge and understanding to improve ourselves, our families, and our communities. As Freemasons, we recognise that acknowledgement gained should be knowledge shared. That investing time, knowledge, and experience through mentoring and coaching is one of the better ways to live our Masonic principles. In our modern, fast-moving, and often isolating society, it is more important than ever that Masons endeavour to seek and share these basic truths and put them into action through a life that informs, influences, and inspires others. What does it mean to become a Mason? Throughout history, Freemasonry has provided a way for men throughout the world to live their lives to their fullest potential in association with other like-minded men. This focus on the social, moral, and intellectual development and well-being of the individual man is unique amongst modern organisations. For centuries, the Masonic Lodge has been the launchpad for Masonic education, learning the values and tools required for self-improvement, enlightenment, and living a greater purpose. Through ritual, discussions, and working in the community, Masons work on becoming better versions of themselves and, as importantly, helping brother Masons do the same. What are the degrees of Freemasonry? The experience of becoming a member of a Masonic Lodge is divided into 3 ceremonial stages that Masons call degrees. The 3 degrees of Freemasonry are entered, apprenticeship, fellowcraft, and master mason. They are loosely based upon the journeyman system, which was used to educate medieval craftsmen. Symbolically, the degrees represent the 3 stages of human development: youth, manhood, and age. First degree, entered apprenticeship. Entered apprentice. This is a candidate's first experience with the ceremonies of the fraternity, and like all Masonic ceremonies, it is a solemn and meaningful event. Once a candidate completes the entered apprentice ceremony, he takes his first step as a Freemason and enjoys the title of brother. Learn more about the entered apprentice degree. Now, the second degree, fellowcraft. The second Masonic degree exposes a brother to more of the symbolism and philosophy of the fraternity. For skilled craftsmen, this degree would have marked a person's progress from an apprentice to a journeyman. Read about the privilege of the fellowcraft degree. Now, the third degree, Master Mason. The last of the Lodge ceremonies. The Master Mason degree makes a candidate a full member of the fraternity, enjoying both the rights and responsibilities of membership. Discover the meaning of the Master Mason degree. What symbols are used in Freemasonry? What do the Masonic symbols mean? Sometimes, as the old saying goes, a picture can say 1,000 words. Dating back to its roots in medieval times, Freemasonry makes use of many symbols. These symbols served several purposes: to teach those not adept at reading the written word, to encourage men to interpret and form their own opinions, to remind Masons of their obligations, and to identify Masons to one another. The most well-known of all Masonic symbols are the square and compass, which stand for morality, honesty, and fair dealings with others. What is a Masonic lodge? A Masonic lodge is where local Freemasons meet and work. More than the location, the lodge itself is its members and their united actions to promote Masonic values and enjoy each other's company. It is during these closed meetings that Freemasons perform ritual and other teachings of the craft. The building itself can be as formal as the great grand lodges, or as simple as a single room in a local building. Every Freemason begins his journey in the craft in a lodge, where he receives the first 3 degrees in Masonry. The traditions of the lodge are founded upon the buildings of King Solomon's Temple, and its fraternal ceremonies use the working tools of the stonemasons to symbolize moral lessons of brotherly love, relief, and truth. For example, Masons are reminded at lodge to meet upon the level of equality, act by the plumb of uprightness, and part upon the square of virtue. Is Freemasonry a religion? Freemasonry is not meant in any way to interfere with an individual's commitment to his faith, family, or occupation. Freemasonry is not and never can be a replacement for these important institutions. Rather, it is a positive environment that reminds every Freemason of his duty to himself, his family, community, and the supreme architect, an individual's own definition of a supreme being. Now, let's just pop back now to what are the values of Freemasonry. And let's see if I can learn a bit more. What are the values of Freemasonry? At its core, Freemasons are a group of like-minded men fully helping each other to the extent of their individual gifts. We are bound and guided by our core values of brotherly love, relief, and truth. Brotherly love, caring for each other and our communities. Masons regard all humans as one family. As members of that family, Masons take an oath to act with respect and understanding towards others, and to aid and support those who are in need. As Masons, we understand that everyone has their own path and their own obstacles. We aid and whisper wise counsel where we can, and offer support and protection when necessary. Freemasons take responsibility for their communities and care for the people in them. Communities are not limited by geography, and the Mason is a member of many communities through his career, faith and interests. Relief. Humbly assist those in distress. As Freemasons, we should help others to negotiate the obstacles in their path. If not, remove them altogether. Relief can be as simple as a well-needed kindness at the right time, or an entire lodge banding together to assist a brother's family. Most Masonic relief is anonymous and rarely, if ever, talked about. It can manifest in a very direction and personal ways. A mother who has to transport her child to a hospital 3 times a week for cancer treatment will find an envelope in her mailbox containing gas cards. A veteran in a restaurant, when asking for the check, finds that his meal has already been paid for. Or it may be as simple as stopping to assist a family with a flat tire on the side of the road. As Masons, we do not seek applause for our relief work, because we believe that offering relief is not a rare circumstance to be celebrated. It is the way we are supposed to behave and conduct ourselves. Truth. Using knowledge and understanding to improve ourselves, our families, and our communities. As Freemasons, one of the first lessons we are taught is to be men of honour and integrity. We believe that justice is owed to each man, woman, and child, because they are part of the human family under the fatherhood of God. We believe that in human endeavours there is right and wrong, good and bad, just and unjust. For the Mason, truth ultimately is a divine attribute and the very foundation of virtue and civility and faith. We expect each Mason will act accordingly to his understanding of Masonic teachings. In our modern, fast-moving and often isolating society, it is more important than ever that Masons seek and share these basic truths and put them into action through a life that informs, influences, and inspires others. Now, let's pop back to what does it mean to become a Mason. Joining Ohio Freemasonry with 68,000 Masons and 440 local lodges, Ohio has one of the largest Masonic memberships of any state in the country. Now, let's take a closer look now at the first degree entered apprentice. First degree entered apprentice. Right, the first degree entered apprentice. The experience of becoming a member of the Masonic Lodge consists of 3 ceremonial stages known as degrees. Since medieval times, these secret rituals have passed from one generation of Freemasons to the next. These ceremonies are fascinating, transformative, and a unique experience amidst our everyday modern life. For centuries, these rituals have been integral parts of a lifelong Masonic journey to become the best version of ourselves and our commitment to each other as brothers. The degree conferred in a Masonic lodge derived from the journeyman system used to educate medieval stonemasons and craftsmen. Masonry passes its teachings and principles through these degrees, from generation to generation. The ceremonies imbue knowledge, inspiration, and pride in the candidate and lodge members, providing a shared experience that unites men in the bond of brotherhood. What is an entered apprentice? Amongst the stonemason guilds of the Middle Ages, it was customary for master workmen to train young men so that skilled workers would be available as the work progressed. On proving their fitness for training, youths were enrolled in the operative lodge as entered apprentices. These apprentices had to be of sound body to perform the hard labour, alert in mind so they could learn the secrets of masonry, and willing to serve faithfully during the long years of apprenticeship. The entered apprentice degree is a candidate's first experience with the ceremonies of the fraternity and serves as an introduction to masonry. It is like all Masonic ceremonies, a solemn and meaningful event. An entered apprentice is a learner, and as such should approach his new vocation with humility and sincere desire to absorb the lessons of the degree. This includes preparing to devote some time studying and reflecting on the moral and ethical philosophies taught during the ceremony. No man can fully observe the depth, beauty, and meaning of the entered apprentice degree on his first encounter. Men return for years to witness and participate in the ceremony to grasp its rich significance. Each Mason ponders its meaning and relies on the counsel of his brethren to develop a more complete understanding during his search for light. Privileges of the entered apprentice. Becoming an entered apprentice, the candidate is entrusted with secrets of the Masonic order and vowed to honour them until Masonic law. Under Masonic law. Once a candidate completes the entered apprentice degree, he takes his first step as a Freemason and enjoys the title of brother. It's important to note that while an entered apprentice is still a member of the fraternity and may attend lodge meetings, they cannot attend meetings convened in a higher degree. An entered apprentice is eligible for a Masonic burial and to petition to complete the second degree and continue his journey for light. Now, let's take a further look at the second degree, Fellow Craft. The second degree, Fellow Craft. For the medieval stonemasons, this degree marked a craftsman's progress from an apprentice to a journeyman. In Freemasonry, the second degree represents the symbolic growth from youth to manhood, as a brother accepts more responsibility within the fraternity and commits to studying its teachings. As he grows in knowledge, he becomes a fellow of the craft. Many Freemasons consider the second degree amongst the most moving ceremonies in the craft. At this stage, a brother is expected to use the wisdom he's gained through life's many experiences to face any challenge that may come. During this degree, he delves deeper into the philosophies and symbolism of the craft he learns about. The working tools of a Mason, which a Mason uses to build his moral character, guiding him in his conduct and interactions with others. The value of learning and education is necessary preparation for becoming the best version of yourself. The twin Masonic pillars. The symbolic entrance to a deeper and more complete understanding of Masonic enlightenment. A Mason's wage of corn, wine, and oil, critical to the ancient stonemasons. These symbols teach a Mason that he is entitled to rewards for his honest labour as a responsible man. The fellow craft degree teaches a man about the value of an informed mind, therefore preparing the candidate to take his place in the world as a good citizen, friend, and family man. The ceremony deepens the candidate's connection to himself, and above all teaches the fellow craft to be just with all mankind. Privileges of fellow craft. Upon completion of the second degree, a brother is now eligible to attend lodge meetings of the entered apprentice and fellow craft masons, while not yet eligible to attend meetings in the master mason degree. He may begin his preparations for the third and final degree by putting into practice the lessons he has learnt as an entered apprentice and fellow craft. Once a fellow craft, a man stands as a living example of enlightenment and wisdom, a mature man prepared to honour the secrets of Freemasonry and face the responsibilities of adulthood. Now that seems quite straightforward there. Now let's look deeper into the third degree, Master Mason. The third degree, Master Mason. As the final and highest honour in Freemasonry, the Master Mason degree symbolises man's maturity through increased knowledge and wisdom. It is the culmination of all he has learnt through the first degrees, including how to prepare for spiritual enlightenment through the craft's teachings. In the third degree, a candidate now learns to act with courage, fidelity, and devotion to his God. The Master Mason ritual emphasizes the immortality of man's soul and encourages us to contemplate how this should influence our actions and decisions. The candidate also strengthens his knowledge of the ethnic principles of Freemasonry as he encounters. The story of Hiram Abiff, a moving allegory expressing the importance of fidelity and the inevitability of death. The lost word, which represents a Freemason's never-ending search for light, truth, and connection with his God. New core Masonic symbolism, including the beehive, trowel, the hourglass, acacia sprig, and many others. Privileges of a Master Mason. As a Master Mason, a man is free to follow his own path in the craft and is entitled to the benefits of full membership. He can study in greater depth the philosophy that underlies our ceremonies and aspire to leadership positions in his lodge and greater Masonic community. While Master Mason is the highest rank in Freemasonry, many brothers choose to continue their study and training in the craft by joining appendant bodies such as the Scottish Rite, 32-degree Freemasonry, the York Rite, and the Shrine or Shriners, amongst others. A Master Masonry may also visit other Masonic lodges, request Masonic relief, infiltrate with a new lodge upon relocation, appear in public Masonic processions, be taught all lessons that Masonry has to offer. As a Master Mason, a man is obliged and abide by the laws, constitutions, and edicts of his Grand Lodge. He is expected to conduct himself with honour and integrity upon holding the core Masonic tenets of brotherly love, relief and truth. Freemasonry is a lifelong journey, and thoroughly absorbing the lessons of the degrees requires constant reflection. By returning to lodge, witnessing the degrees, and becoming an active part of the Masonic community, a man can build himself into a better man. How does Freemasonry work? Freemasonry functions on at least 3 levels. Number 1. Philosophically, Freemasonry is a system of morality vowed in allegory and illustrated by symbols. The classic definition is used by many Grand Lodges around the world. Morality encompasses ethical principles of right and wrong, and adherence to these principles is one reason that Masons are often considered trusted leaders, employees and volunteers. Number 2. Organisationally, Freemasonry is a non-profit private association that operates as a Grand Lodge with a network of subordinate Masonic lodges. In these lodges, members are received and cared for, lessons and ceremonies are conducted, and social events and fellowship opportunities are held. Number 3. Freemasonry is also a way of life for good men, Freemasons who apply Masonic principles to their daily activities, both personal and professional. By so doing, men work to become the best they can be for themselves, their families, and their communities. Most of the fellowship and service to humanity that is inspired by Masonic teachings happens at this level of individual action. Now guys, that was very interesting. Now, I wasn't too sure what Freemasonry is, but now I understand it a little bit better. So, what do you think, people? Just thought I'd cover that. Why, I had myself a spare half an hour. So there's a bit of food for thought for you all. Freemasons are good people. Well, hope you enjoyed listening to that, guys. And I'll catch up with you shortly. Please subscribe, like, and hit the notification button, so every time I produce a video, you receive a notification and I give you. Hope you all have a brilliant Friday morning, and I'll catch up with you